Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and today I have my buys and buys for March of 2025. So in this video, I do look at all of my purchases and all of my empties for the month, and we review totals, amounts, beauty budget, all of that. I did get this video idea from another YouTuber. Her name is Anne, and I always do have her linked down below so that you guys can check out her channel as well. But I have in my bucket here, not a whole lot. So it's another smaller empties month and actually a smaller month for purchases, which feels kind of good, but is also making me kind of what's the right word? Not review, but there's another word that I'm thinking that my brain cannot pull up. But I'm rethinking my beauty budget or kind of even my consumption within makeup. But I will get into that a little bit later. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and get everything out of my bucket laid out so it doesn't make a bunch of noise. And we will go through my empties. So let me do that right now. I did also mention in a prior video that a friend of mine recommended a book for me to pick up, so I will show my book purchase, even though this is not going to turn into a book channel at all. And also, of course, I don't have a book budget. So I think this is actually the first real book I've purchased in a long time. The group of writers that I'm a part of, I'm usually reading a lot of stuff that they are writing and producing, so I don't really have a need for the mainstream books. But one of my friends actually told me that she feels that my style of writing is very similar to this book, so she wanted me to read it to maybe give myself a little bit of an encouraging moment in my writing psyche, I guess. But let's look at a lot of skincare items that were empties for the month of March. And we can start first with one of my Dr. Jart Ceramidin Skin Barrier Masks, which I really do want to do some more sheet masks, do some more treat me moments. Now I do have a 5-pack of these that came in a FabFitFun, and I don't want to consider the whole product empty in my beauty budget until all 5 are gone, because I'm not breaking them down cost per mask. I'm just breaking them down cost per package that they came to me. But I really do love the Dr. Jart Ceramidin formula. My skin loves it, and actually I can kind of tack this on with it. What was it, last year they had the Dr. Jart Ceramidin Skin Barrier Moisturizing Cream during the 21 Days of Beauty, and then of course Sephora matches a lot of those. So I was able to get this 50% off, which is probably the only way that I would ever purchase this because it is an expensive cream, but I loved using this. And when my skin was really going through it at the end of last year, this was so nice to have. And so, I mean, same ingredients in both of them with their kind of ceramide barrier repairing type of formula. So I loved these. So I do need to do some more self-care moments and get some more of those masks used up. I do have one more. I have a Dr. Jart, what is that one? It's the green one. So it's not the ceramidin line, but it's the other one. Is it like a tiger grass or something? I had the name and now it's gone. But I do have another tube in my fridge, and then I do have a 15 ml of this still floating around to use. So this is not out of my life, but I would love to be able to get that on a deal again. So those are my 2 Dr. Jart products. Another moisturizer, this one I used at night, and this is from One Kind. This came in a FabFitFun, so it's not a brand that I kind of picked. Well, I picked it myself as far as a customization, but I didn't pick it myself as I didn't pick it up from the store myself. But this is the Dream Cream Nighttime Moisturizer. So it was a thicker moisturizer, which I am 40 years old and I'm an oily skin type and I live in Florida. So I get oily very quickly. So I can't wear rich stuff like this during the day, but I love to just slather myself with rich creams and slugging and all that stuff. I love to do that at night, so this was a good product. I think I remember the smell. Yeah, the smell was a little bit herbal, medicinal, and I always say, and I say this with the kindest heart possible, but it reminds me of the smell of the stores in the mall that had the rain sticks and the crystals. That's what this smells like. So that's what that brings me back to. So I wouldn't necessarily repurchase this or pick it back up again, even on like a FabFitFun sale, mainly because of the smell. Because I have creams that I get from the drugstore, like my Vanny creams and stuff like that, that are just as rich and effective without, number one, the high price tag for this, and also without all the fragrance. Because this one here, let me pull up, because I just updated all of my spreadsheets. So this is a $40 tube, and it is only 50 mils. $40 for this. No, thank you. But I'm glad to be able to try things out in my FabFitFun for sure. Now, this one's a little bit gross because it lived in my shower, but this is the Anua, and this is the Heart Leaf Pore Control Cleansing Oil. I picked this up during my first Yes Style order because I wanted to try some Korean skincare, and I also wanted to try a cleansing oil because the cleansing balm that I love is quite expensive. So I was looking for some lower cost alternatives to that. And my brain is not braining today. And I know you guys have been so super sweet. In my last video, everybody's like, hey, do whatever you need to do to keep your peace and to like protect my peace and protect myself, like my own like inner peace. And so my brain continues to be very scattered. We got even more bad news about our working situation last Thursday that's supposed to start the following Monday, and we had no warning, no lead up, nothing. So even more stress coming down the pipeline, and hopefully our government figures out what they are doing and how much money they're wasting by doing what they're doing right now. But I'm not gonna, y'all were like, oh, sassy Erin's in the house. I'm like, I've considered doing a get ready with me where I just kind of like put on blast everything that's happening from inside an organization that you probably are not going to be hearing on the news, but then I also don't want to lose my job. So I don't know if I'll do that, but I will say that because of all this, I've started therapy again. And it's been a long time since I've needed to be in therapy, but I signed up with a therapist. I had my first session last week. I see her again in 2 weeks. And this stress has made a therapist myself go back to therapy. So if I am kind of not distant, but if I'm a little bit more scatterbrained over the next couple months, it's because I'm trying to keep my shit together. Plain and simple. But cleansing oil, as we're getting back to this is not my favorite, so I would not repurchase this. I didn't like the smell. It was a little bit more herbal, like spa smelling, which again is not my favorite type of smell, but if you love spa smelling things, maybe right up your alley. It did work really well. It was a little bit more of a thinner cleansing oil, so if you don't like the like thicker feeling oils that you like have to do the second cleanse with, this one was a little bit thinner. And actually, I was in a TJ Maxx earlier today and I saw that they had this in TJ Maxx, so you can also get it locally within your discount stores as well. But that is a cleansing oil down. So I had my 2 moisturizers, my cleansing oil, my mask. I have 2 makeup empties, and then I have 3 declutters. So my first makeup empty is going to be one of my setting sprays. So this is the e.l.f. Dewy Coconut Setting Spray. It's one of my holy grails. I pick up tons of these during Black Friday to use throughout the year. The sprayer on this is one of the best sprayers that I've experienced, both high-end and drugstore. The sprayer on this is amazing. So I actually end up emptying my Gerard Cosmetics ones into these bottles to use this sprayer because the sprayer is just, it's that fine mist that it's fine enough to where you don't get droplets, but it's not so fine that you don't feel like you're getting anything on your face. So it's kind of the Goldilocks of sprayers. So love this. I always get them on a deal. And then my next empty is going to be a mini mascara, and this is from Rare Beauty. I don't know the full name of it because it is so small on the bottom that my 40-year-old eyes cannot see that. But it is Always an Optimist. I know like her products all have like catchy little uplifting names, but it just has a natural bristle brush, and even this being a mini, it lasted me 2 months before it dried out. And this isn't necessarily old in my collection either, but what I noticed about this, it didn't flake and it didn't smudge, which on my oily eyelids is a check in the win column. But for me, the brush was a little bit too big for my eyes, so I always ended up having to do some cleanup. But if you have bigger eyes, if you have more room to work a bigger mascara brush, this is a very lovely mascara. Now, this seems a little bit smaller than most minis, and it might be because this is just one of the either freebies or like 100-point perk that I picked up from Sephora. So I don't think this is the actual mini size that they sell. So only getting 2 months out of it, I feel is fair. If you guys get minis of these, you might have to drop down below for anybody else how long you can get one of those minis to work for you. But overall, I did like it. I liked the volume. It made my lashes fluttery. It was nice and black. And again, it didn't flake or smudge on me, which I have a lot of issues with mascaras flaking and smudging on me. So I was happy to have that one. And then my 3 declutters are my Super Shocks that I have decided to get rid of. A couple months ago within my deck of panning, I rolled in all of my Super Shocks to test them out and see which ones have dried out and which ones need to go. And these are the 3 that I decided on. There are a couple other ones that are kind of on the chopping block, and probably if by the fall I'm not using them or they have dried out even more, they will end up getting decluttered as well. But I'm just not reaching for my singles the way that I would want to. So the ones that are going is going to be Birthday Girl. So this is from the birthday collection from 2017. So she's done her job. She is an old girl. She's done her job. I did repress this one with some oil and it's gotten dried out and flaky again. So this one here is going to go. This one here is Sail Away. This one I never really liked. I bought this one at Ulta, so I don't know how long it sat there, but this one was never really creamy, and it was never as impactful as it seemed in the pan, because it seems really metallic in the pan, but it was never that way on my lids. So this one is going to go. I did end up hitting a very tiny pan on this one before I decluttered it, so at least I did that. And before I repressed Birthday Girl, this one did have a pan on it as well. This one here is the Colors of the Wind from the Disney collection. So this is Pocahontas's color, and it's this beautiful gold. And I never hit pan on this one, but this one just dried out so quickly. I have another shade. I have Moana's shade from the same collection, and that one is still creamy and beautiful. And I tighten my lids. I keep them in a drawer, like they're not in direct sunlight. So I don't know why this one dried out more than the other one, but this one unfortunately is going to go. I'm probably going to save this one. Like, I'll empty everything out of the compact and save it just because it has these beautiful gold leaves on it, and I totally love Pocahontas. So I am going to hang on to the packaging of this one, but these other ones, they can go ahead and go. So I will empty these out and recycle those. So that is all of my declutters and my empties. So I technically only had 5 empties, because the sheet mask will not count until I've emptied all of them. So with those 5 empties, I had a total cost of $93.54. So everything else, so for the cream, this was retail price, even though I got it in a FabFitFun. Everything else was the price that I paid for it. And then I gave myself a $5 value for this mascara because it is a deluxe size, or a mini of, I think this is $20. Retail, like for the full size, so $5 for the cost of that one. So $93.54, just under $100 for my empties for the month. But that is okay because I am working on some tough products right now. I'm working through my skincare. Like I am putting in the work to use my things and I love it. And I love how much you guys are also encouraging me with my project pans and everything because I did roll in pretty much brand new products. I'm like, okay, I have my work cut out for me this year, so I am going to be doing the best that I can. But let me put these away. Let me pull out my purchases and we will get into what I brought into my inventory and my collection in March. All right, you guys, so I only made 2 purchases in March. Only 2. And I think like it was the middle of the month before I made the first purchase and then like the very end of the month when I made the second purchase. So I almost didn't purchase anything. And I just, so this is maybe where I'm rethinking, not necessarily my beauty budget, but kind of my purchasing and my collection. And I'm feeling like I'm not needing to bring things in. And I don't know if this is a symptom of my stress level and my brain fog and kind of the mental health that I'm kind of like working through right now. I don't know if it's a symptom of that because typically with me, I get really indifferent about a lot of things. And I don't feel like I'm there because I still love my makeup. I love doing my eyeshadow. Like I love putting my looks together. So I think that there's just not anything out there that is so new that it's catching my attention. And I'm like, oh, that's worth me spending $40 on. Like I feel like that is more of the issue rather than me falling out of love with makeup because I still have a lot of passion for coming on here and doing my videos and talking with you guys. I still have a lot of passion for my writing. I'm getting into doing some reading. And so I don't feel like the indifference is coming into my hobbies yet. So I'm hopeful and I've already made some purchases for April. So it's not that I feel like I need to purchase as like a caliber for my happiness, but it was just interesting. And I wanted to reflect on kind of what my reasoning was that I didn't get excited about things in 21 Days of Beauty. I didn't get excited about filling my cart with stuff during the VIB sale, even though Ulta did send out their 20% off everything coupon. So I did make a purchase from Ulta and I picked that up yesterday. So I think that it's kind of like I'm at the point where I can just be like, these are the things that I need because I'm using the thing up in my collection. So maybe this is the mindset that I've been working towards this entire time. So, but let me look at, so I did purchase one thing from the 21 Days of Beauty, and this is because this is a product that I have loved in the past, and I have not had it in years, and I was just curious with not necessarily my change in the way that I do my makeup, but just the changes in my skin, the changes in some of the products that I'm using. I wonder if this would still be an item that I love, and that is the original It Cosmetics CC cream. I love this. I went through like 2 or 3 tubes of this way back in the day, and they didn't have as many shades back then, so light was always too dark for me, and fair was almost too yellow for me. So I think that's when I started getting the Misha BB cream to be that cool toned gray mix-in, was when I was trying to use up my CC creams. But they did release a whole lot more shades and kind of undertones, so I got Fair Light, and I think I've had this shade before in the past, so this one typically will work for me. And so this is it right here, especially for the summertime. This will be a nice kind of transition from summer into fall for me. And when I want a little bit lighter of a coverage, not lighter of a coverage, but a lighter feel than the Urban Decay one, I think that this will be a really good one to have. So I did pick up the CC cream, and again, this was in 21 Days of Beauty, so this one was half off. So I spent $21.15 on this product here. And then the next item I picked up while I was on a Target run, and this was in my cart. I was curious about this. I did not need this, but I have been enjoying it. And this is one of the ColourPop Fresh Kiss glossy lip balms. So this, everybody was raving about how these were so close to the lip butter balms. Like they even have kind of the same component that you apply it to your lips, that kind of clear, like flexible little tip there. And so I did pick this up in watermelon sugar because I do have, like I said, I have iced coffee, hot cocoa, and cherry in the Summer Fridays. And I wanted a watermelon one for the summer. I love watermelon flavored products, especially when it's not so heavily a artificial watermelon, like the e.l.f. watermelon lip oil was, where it smelled like watermelon plastic. This actually is like watermelon candy. So I have been enjoying this. I've been throwing it on my lips in the morning. I don't think that this is as rich as the Summer Fridays. And, you know, putting them on back to each other, I think that this is a little bit of a lighter formula. I think that this one wears off a little bit quicker, but for less than half the price of the lip butter balms, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. It still is fun, it's comfortable, it hydrates your lips, it gives a little bit of a tint, but it does wear off. So it doesn't stain, but it gives a little bit of a tint. But I did pick this up for full price at Target, so I paid $10 for this. Do I feel like this is a $10 product? Maybe $8. So if I got this on sale for $8, I would feel better about that. And let me check my philosophy on that. So I'll spend $24 on a lip butter balm because I perceive the value of that being higher than the ColourPop ones because ColourPop is ColourPop. So I perceive the value of a ColourPop product as $8 versus me perceiving the value of a Summer Fridays product as $24. Riddle me that. And again, that's something where I'm glad that I do these videos because it makes me look at that perspective and be like, but they're both nice products. So why do I perceive that ColourPop is less value? And I think mainly it is the prestige of the brand, but even that is psychological in marketing. So we're not going to go down that road. We are definitely, we don't need to go down that road. So those are my only two purchases, is these two. So I love both of them, so I'm happy to have them. But let's look at what my budget is looking like. So at the end of February, here's what I'm doing with my budget. So every 2 weeks, every time I get paid, I take $75 and I transfer it directly into a savings account. That savings account is just for my beauty budget. So if the money's not there, I should not be purchasing things. But let's say that I purchase something on my credit card, then I am paying my credit card back straight out of that beauty account. I do not charge myself shipping or taxes. I only charge myself for the amount of the product. Now, in past years, when my budget didn't allow me to absorb that extra cost of taxes and shipping, I did charge myself the whole purchase price out of my beauty budget. So again, look at what your budget looks like. If you guys are doing a beauty budget, see if you have that wiggle room to kind of eat the cost of taxes and shipping yourself. And if you don't, then you don't. If you do, then great, you do. But at the end of February, I did have $156.73 in my beauty budget. I did have 2 paychecks in March, so that was $150 that were added to the account. So that gave me a total available of $306.73. I do earn like 2 cents in interest every month, but again, I cannot be bothered. I cannot be bothered right now with 2 cents in my spreadsheets. But my total cost for products that I purchased was $31.15. And so after all of that is deducted, I still have $275.58 rolling into April. So my budget is stacked right now, and I'm curious. I think, eyeshadow palettes are going to be the most expensive thing that ends up coming into my collection. So I'm just curious what's going to be released later on down the year. But I also kind of feel very content where my eyeshadow palettes are. Like even the newest palette from Bella Beauté Bar, like as much as I love greens with like a pop of pink and stuff in there, that it did not interest me. It's so desaturated that I'm like that on me, the way that I like doing my makeup, I feel like that palette would just turn muddy because it's so desaturated. So for me, I was like, that's an easy pass for me. And I really haven't seen anything else like come up being released that I'm like, oh my God, I need that right away. So I feel like my beauty budget is safe for right now, but we will see what the summer holds. And also, I've been getting a little bit more into fragrance, so I might end up having to roll my fragrance budget into my beauty budget if fragrance for me becomes a problem. It's not a problem right now, but so if I look at my totals for the year, so I've used $104.25 of my makeup budget. I've used $71.77 of my skincare budget. I have used, and that is not correct in my spreadsheet. Good thing I have not taken my pictures yet. I have used $123.25 of my palette budget. I've used none of my hair care budget. I've used $29 of my perfume budget and $5.40 of my tools. So hair care, perfume, and tools currently don't count because they're not problem categories, but I do count my makeup, skincare, and hair care. So, no. Makeup, skincare, and palettes. That is what's in my budget. So that's where we're sitting right now. I feel very comfortable with that. I don't have another magic month until July, so we will just steadily build up my budget until a palette comes along that I can't resist, and I'll probably end up dropping $75 on a palette because that is my MO. But let me quickly look at the book that I bought, and so I had to search all over Target, far and wide, to find this. It was not on, and it was on an end cap, but it was on an end cap like facing the other way, and maybe you guys will know why. So this is the book that my friend recommended me. It's a dear writing friend of mine who reads my stuff, and like we give each other feedback and critiques, and so she recommended Lights Out. And I've been seeing stuff on Instagram and like book talk and stuff like that about people talking about this. So I knew the premise of the book, but I didn't know the full plot, and I still don't. I've only read chapter 1 and chapter 2, so I was introduced to Allie and Josh. So I've only been introduced to them. I don't know anything else, but I know the premise. And the fact that on one of the first pages in here, there's almost an entire page of trigger warnings. Does that mean it's going to be a good book or a bad book? I'm just curious. And I did not read any of the trigger warnings. I don't know if this is my therapist brain or not, but I'm not triggered by much of anything except for like harm to animals. So if anything, because actually I tried to watch the show Chernobyl, and if you have ever watched that show, I got to a certain point in that show, I think it was like episode 2 or 3, and I was done. I could not watch anymore. So that is like my only stop point, is if animals are hurt. Otherwise, I've heard enough from clients that like nothing surprises me anymore. So I am very curious. So if anybody else out there has read this book, no spoilers, but maybe drop me an emoji down below that would describe either your favorite part of the book or like what to expect or your feelings after reading the book, find an emoji and drop it down below in the comments and let me know. And I will try to gauge by your emoji what you are feeling, or whenever I get to that part in the book, I will understand what emoji. And if you drop the knife emoji, I already kind of think I know, because what is the dedication? For anyone brave enough to ride the handle. I think I already know what that is. So if you drop the knife emoji, I will know what you're talking about. Bless it. With me going back in the office and not being able to work from home anymore, I am going to sign up for like Audible or something like that. And so I'm going to be listening to a lot of books. So if you guys also have book recs that I can listen to while I'm stuck in traffic, drop them down below and let me know what your book recommendations are, because I will be spending a lot of time in my vehicle in the upcoming months, weeks, years, who knows. But let me know your thoughts, feelings, drop your emoji, all that stuff. Again, this will not become a book channel because I don't want to mix what is in this book on this channel, even though I think a lot of times these two places maybe overlap a little bit. But that is what I have to say about what my reading material is right now. Maybe this will be a little bit of an escape for me whenever I get home from work. I can read a chapter and see what Allie and Josh are up to. But that is all I have. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of this up for you guys. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here, spending time with me. Again, I am behind on answering comments, and it's just because my brain can't handle stuff. So I thank you guys for giving me grace and kind of letting me have the time and the moments that I need to rest my brain. But I do appreciate you guys so, so much. You have no idea. So if there's anybody else out there kind of feeling like this and struggling like this, you're not alone. Even the people that are supposed to be the professionals also go through this, and we also ask for help. So like I said, I'm going to go. I'm going to encourage you guys to do all the things, all the YouTube things. Hit a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy my content. If you are new or lurking and you found me and you're like, what is this lady talking about with money and makeup? And I almost said that the S word starts with an S and ends with a T. Yeah, hi, this is me. I'm usually a little bit more upbeat and not as cynical, but it's just because I have some life stress. But we all go through that. But if you like project panning, conscious consumerism, beauty budgets, spreadsheets, nerding out about stuff, psychobabble, puppy dogs, if you're into that stuff, consider sticking around and hitting that subscribe button. It's free for you, but it helps me out a lot. Of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know how you're doing. What was your favorite purchase of March? And then don't forget to drop your emoji down below about if you've read this book. Give me your emoji. I am so, so curious. But I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. I'm going to wish all of you a beautiful day, and I'm going to catch you in my next one.